In 2002, Benzino was a co-owner of The Source, the most respected hip-hop magazine in the world. For 15 years, The Source had been the Bible of hip-hop. If The Source gave your album 5 mics, you were a legend. Benzino had power. He could make or break careers with magazine ratings. He controlled the narrative in hip-hop journalism. Then, he made a mistake. He went after Eminem. Eminem responded with diss tracks so brutal that they didn't just end Benzino's rap career, they destroyed The Source's credibility. By 2009, the magazine was bankrupt. Benzino had lost everything. This is the story of how one man's ego destroyed the most important publication in hip-hop history. The Source magazine started in 1988 as a newsletter created by Harvard students David Mays and John Schechter. By the 1990s, it had become the most important voice in hip-hop. The Source's album rating system was legendary. 1 mic meant the album was weak. 5 mics meant it was a classic. Only a handful of albums ever got 5 mics. Getting 5 mics could change a rapper's career. The magazine discovered new artists. They broke news. They covered hip-hop culture seriously when mainstream media ignored it. Every rapper wanted to be on the cover of The Source. Raymond Scott, who went by the name Benzino, was a rapper from Boston. He'd been making music since the late 1980s with a group called Almighty RSO. They had some regional success, but never broke through nationally. In the mid-1990s, Benzino became friends with David Mays, one of The Source's founders. Mays was white, and some people criticized him for profiting off black culture. Benzino defended him. By 2000, Benzino had become a co-owner of The Source, along with Mays. He now had power in the industry beyond his music career. This should have been good for Benzino. He could use the magazine to help his own music career and support artists he believed in. But power corrupted him. Once Benzino became co-owner, people noticed something strange about The Source's album ratings. Benzino's own albums got favorable reviews in the magazine he owned. His friends got better ratings than they probably deserved. Artists who had beef with Benzino got worse ratings. The credibility that The Source had built over 15 years started eroding. Hip-hop fans noticed the bias. They started questioning whether the ratings meant anything anymore. In 2002, Eminem released The Eminem Show. The album was massive commercially and got strong reviews from critics everywhere, but The Source gave it 4 mics instead of 5. Many people thought the album deserved 5 mics. Some suspected Benzino influenced the rating because he had issues with Eminem. Benzino had been making comments about Eminem in interviews. He questioned whether Eminem was truly part of hip-hop culture. He said Eminem was only successful because he was white and the industry favored white artists. Benzino also had problems with Eminem's mentor, Dr. Dre. There was tension between them going back years. Then in 2003, things escalated. In 2003, Benzino released a diss track aimed at Eminem called Pull Your Skirt Up. In the song, Benzino attacked Eminem's credibility in hip-hop. He said Eminem was destroying hip-hop culture. He said Eminem was only popular because he was white and the industry pushed him. Benzino also said Eminem disrespected black culture. He brought up controversial lyrics from Eminem's past where Eminem had said offensive things. But here's where Benzino made his biggest mistake. He used The Source magazine as a weapon. The Source published articles criticizing Eminem. They ran pieces questioning his impact on hip-hop. Benzino even released old recordings of Eminem from the 1990s saying racist things about black women. These tapes became known as the Foolish Pride controversy. The tapes were real. Eminem had made the recordings when he was young, before he was famous. The content was offensive. Eminem later apologized and said he made mistakes when he was younger. But the way Benzino released the tapes looked calculated. It looked like he was using his magazine to attack someone who'd criticized him or didn't give him respect. The hip-hop community started turning against Benzino. Even people who had issues with Eminem thought Benzino was abusing his power at the source. Eminem didn't respond immediately. He let Benzino talk. He let Benzino release multiple diss tracks. He let the situation build. Then Eminem released The Nail in the Coffin in 2003. The track destroyed Benzino. Eminem attacked every aspect of Benzino's career and credibility. He said Benzino was a failed rapper who never had a hit. He said Benzino only had power because he owned a magazine, not because of his talent. He mocked Benzino's age. Benzino was in his late 30s still trying to have a rap career. Eminem said Benzino was too old and desperate. He went after Benzino's appearance. He made fun of Benzino's attempts to look younger and stay relevant. But the most damaging part was when Eminem exposed how Benzino was using the source. He said Benzino was destroying the magazine's credibility. He said Benzino was giving his own albums good ratings while attacking Eminem's albums. Eminem also released another disc called The Sauce, where he made fun of the Source magazine's name and continued attacking Benzino's credibility. The disses were clever, brutal, and factual. Eminem wasn't just making fun of Benzino, he was pointing out real issues with how Benzino ran the source. After Eminem's disses, other artists started speaking out about the source. Rappers who'd gotten bad ratings came forward. They said Benzino had influenced their reviews because of personal issues. They said the source wasn't objective anymore. Advertisers started pulling out. Companies didn't want to be associated with a magazine that was in a public beef. They questioned the source's credibility. Staff members at the source became uncomfortable. Some quit. They said Benzino was using the magazine for personal vendettas instead of covering hip-hop fairly. In 2006, David Mays and Benzino were forced out of the source by the magazine's board of directors. The board said they'd mismanaged the company and destroyed its reputation. The source tried to rebuild, but the damage was done. The magazine's circulation dropped dramatically. From a peak of about 500,000 copies per issue in the early 2000s, it fell to around 100,000 by 2008. In 2009, the source filed for bankruptcy. The magazine that had been the voice of hip-hop for 2 decades was broke. Benzino's rap career was over after the Eminem beef. His albums after the beef sold poorly. His 2003 album Redemption sold only about 11,000 copies in its first week. His next albums did even worse. Radio stations wouldn't play his music. DJs didn't want to touch anything associated with Benzino. He'd become toxic in the industry. Other rappers distanced themselves from him. Nobody wanted to work with someone who'd lost so badly to Eminem and destroyed the source in the process. Benzino tried to stay relevant through reality TV. He appeared on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta starting in 2012. He dated cast member Althea Hart, and their relationship drama became his main source of fame. But even on reality TV, people remembered him as the guy who lost to Eminem. Hosts and other cast members would bring it up. It became a running joke. In interviews over the years, Benzino has maintained that he was right about Eminem. He still says Eminem benefited from being white. He still says he was trying to protect hip-hop culture. But nobody takes him seriously. His credibility is gone. He's remembered as a cautionary tale about what happens when you abuse power and pick fights you can't win. In 2002, Benzino owned the Source magazine and had real power in hip-hop. He could influence careers. He controlled one of the most important platforms in the culture. Then he decided to go after Eminem. Maybe Benzino thought his position at the Source protected him. Maybe he thought Eminem wouldn't respond. Maybe he thought he could win because he had a magazine and Eminem didn't. He was wrong on all counts. Eminem destroyed Benzino with 2 diss tracks. The disses was so effective that they didn't just hurt Benzino, they destroyed the source's credibility and eventually led to the magazine's bankruptcy. Benzino lost everything. His rap career ended, his ownership of the source ended, his reputation was destroyed. He became a reality TV joke. The source lost its position as hip-hop's most respected voice. The magazine that discovered Nas, Biggie, and dozens of other legends became irrelevant. All because Benzino couldn't control his ego. All because he abused his power. All because he picked a fight with someone who was better than him.